I hope everybody's having a good Wednesday morning so far. We have another Toolbox Wednesday class here for you this morning. We've got Tim Ross from Remax LLC, the tech team, with us. Thanks, Tim, for joining us today.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you again for having me.
So Tim today is going to be going over BOOJ and specifically the campaigns that are all nice and new. They've been out, what, about 3-4 weeks now, Tim?
About that time, a little over 3 weeks.
Yeah. So I will go ahead and hand it over to Tim, talk about campaigns. Feel free to ask questions either in the chat box or feel free to unmic. We want these to be as natural as possible and make sure you guys understand how to use BOOJ to get you some more business. That's the whole idea of all these Toolbox classes. So please feel free to ask questions. And then I'll remind everybody at the end, but just in case you happen to hop off or whatnot, in 2 weeks' time, on the 10th, we have Tim coming back to go over the new megaphone. So excited for that. But today we're talking about BOOJ campaign. So Tim, take it away.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen here. And everybody should be seeing on your screens now the Mac Center. And give me 1 second, I'm gonna remove the bar here. And does everybody see the Mac Center tile? For some reason, I'm not seeing the green.
I see Mac Center, yes.
Okay, good. All right, thanks for mentioning that. All right, so to access BOOJ, just a reminder, you have to go into Mac Center, which is remax.net. I have BOOJ saved as a favorite, so that always displays as a favorite on the top apps. If you don't see it in your top apps, over on your left, click on apps, and then you can click on all, and you're looking for the BOOJ tile. If you're unsure of how to set something as a favorite, it's pretty simple. There's just a little ribbon bar that you can select that will actually set that one tile as a favorite. So every time you come back, it'll display at the top. And these are my most active pieces that I use or applications that I use inside Remax. So once you click on BOOJ, that will open up in a different window. Now, just to give you a heads up, I am going to be switching different accounts, and I'll explain the reason behind that in a few minutes, but just giving you a heads up on that piece of it. So we're talking about campaigns. The drip campaigns were released a little over three weeks ago, and there's some certain steps that you need to look at in regards to using campaigns. So we're going to click on campaigns up at the top, and when we get inside campaigns, we're going to go over to the left and we're going to click on drip. Under the drip, you'll see this new window where it says import curated drip campaigns. So curated drip campaigns basically means these are campaigns that are created for you to use inside the BOOJ platform. There are 6 campaigns. Now you have the option to the right to click a little minus sign. That'll minimize that so you can still see the active that's inside here. Or you can click the plus, it'll expand out. Now, once you click import, it will take a little bit for them to import those 6 campaigns into your account. Once you click this import campaigns, this window right here disappears. The only time it will come back is when BOOJ adds additional campaigns. When they do that, you can click import campaigns. Okay, so just a reminder, you click import campaigns, that screen will disappear. When BOOJ adds additional campaigns, that screen will come back, and you'll also get notifications via email from Remax, and also basically from the recharge emails that they send out every Tuesday from our tech team as well. Now, once we click the import campaigns, this is where I said earlier, I have to sign out, because if I click import campaigns, I don't see the screen anymore, right? So I actually have to use a different account here. So we're going to go in and we're going to access the other account and show you what it looks like when those campaigns import. Now we'll go back to campaigns. We'll go to drip. And now you'll notice that that window that I was talking about earlier to import, that disappears. And again, that will only display back when BOOJ adds additional campaigns. So starting off with, down below, we have the list of all the campaigns that are listed. So we have existing homeowners, existing renters, homeowners seasonal tips, new buyers, new homeowners, and new seller drip campaigns. So these are campaigns, they're generic, they're accessible, they're pretty much meant to be able to send to anybody in your list, right? Now, you can also create copies of these if you want, and we'll walk through that in a few minutes. Now, one of the things that I recommend is that before you go in and start setting up your campaigns, one of the first things that you need to do is on your left-hand side, you'll click on recipient list. Now, under the recipient list, this allows you to create list for your campaigns. So you can create the list here, or you can set it up when you're creating the drip campaigns and you're ready to activate those. Now, I'm not going to add one here because it was the same steps as we go through the drip campaigns. So we're just going to go through the drips, and we're going to say existing homeowners. So we'll click the campaign, and there's 4 different steps that you go through to activate a campaign. Now, you can edit the name of the campaign. I recommend that you don't edit the name, because if you do, then you might not remember what that campaign's about, right? Over to the right, you have actions. I can create a copy. Now, if you want to customize the campaign, I would recommend that you create a copy of that campaign. So I'm going to go ahead and create a copy of this campaign because we're going to be making some changes to it as we go through. So we're going to go ahead and create copy. We're going to confirm. And it's creating this copy right now. And after it completes it, you're actually going to notice where it's going to say copied copy. So it's going to actually go back to all drip campaigns. And you'll notice right here, it says copied. Basically what we did, we created a copy of the copy that was there. Excuse me. So we're going to go ahead and click on existing homeowner again. We're going to come back in this campaign, and we're going to change this. Instead of saying copied, we're just going to call it custom, because we're going to customize this campaign as we go through. So I'll save it. So now we know that this copy that we just created, this is a campaign that we're going to customize, because there's certain things inside some of the letters that we might want to modify, or we might want to change the dates that they're being sent out and stuff, right? Then we can do this without affecting the original copy that we have. So the first thing is you want to add recipients. So to add recipients, we're going to add filters. Now you can set this up under the recipient list, but we're doing this inside the campaign itself. So we're going to set up a couple of criterias. So the first criteria is we're going to use tags. Now this is extremely important. When you use tags, basically what that allows you to do is anytime you add a contact to a tag that is associated to the campaign, then they're automatically added to that campaign. And I'll walk you through on some of those. So we're going to select some of the tags, and we're just going to say, where's the A clients? We'll do A clients. Okay. Now you're going to notice at the bottom that it's updating. If I have any contacts associated to it, those would appear. Now I'm going to go over to my contacts. And I am going to add Johnny and Timothy, but I am going to add the tag. And that was an A client. Okay, so now they're A clients. If I come back over, and I'm just going to refresh this. Here it goes. So A clients, this is going to refresh. It's going to look at my contacts, and you'll see that I added those tags to that contact, and now it automatically added it to this list. So this looks good. Everything looks great. We can go to emails on the next step. Okay, so the biggest key is you want to make sure you set your recipients, and then you can look at your emails. On your emails, you can see the subject. You can also see the preview text. You can send a test email, so you can actually see what that looks like. You can also click on the email and actually read the email that's inside here. And you'll notice at the top that it has first name. Now, one of the things that I know just from experience is that sometimes you'll have contacts inside your database that don't have a first name. So if you look at this right here, it's going to say first name and then comma. If this email is sent out and you're missing a first name, when they open up that email, what are they going to see in that email? They're going to see that there's a blank space and then a comma, right? So you know what? Maybe I don't want that comma to be there. So I can click on edit design, and I can come in and look at the edit text. So we'll edit this text. It'll bring up the WYSIWYG. You know what? We still want the first name, but we're going to delete that comma just because of formatting, right? I don't want to send an email out that I don't have a first name and they open it up and there's a comma right at the top of the page. You know, it looks kind of weird anyway, right? So I can go and just change that information there. I can go in and I can modify any of the content that's inside here. So you can customize each of these letters in these campaigns to fit your market or your geographical area. So we'll go ahead and save the change on that. And you'll notice in the preview that comma is no longer there. You can also add additional blocks to the newsletter. Just click on add block. You can add additional text blocks, image blocks, email listing blocks, your agent block, which is your information, or even an email banner block as well. You can change the order of the blocks to where you have your contact information at the top and the letter down below just by moving the content blocks. We'll go ahead and save this. And after we save it, that'll be saved for this specific email. So even in your preview, you'll actually see what it looks like. So this is the first email. So it sends immediately after a contact or lead becomes a recipient. So basically that means is once you add a contact to this campaign, they immediately get this campaign. Now, when we say immediately, we don't mean that it's going to instantly send out in 10 seconds, right? You have to give a little bit of time for it to go through a process. It could be an hour or a couple of hours, right? So you still want to give it a little bit of time for that. As we scroll down or look to the right, we can change the order of the emails by just clicking the arrows. We can delete the emails inside here. Word of advice, if you delete an email, you have to manually create that. You cannot add that back. So be very cautious of when you delete emails in these campaigns. As you scroll down and we look at the second email, you'll notice it says send 30 days after the previous email at 6 a.m. All right, so from experience, what I've learned in the past is that I normally don't like to send emails out typically until after 9 o'clock in the morning, because I put myself in the consumer shoes. I'm a consumer as well. And when I open up my email account, what is one of the first things that you do in the morning? Everybody goes in, you start clicking on all the emails that you're like junk, 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 delete, right? So maybe I don't want this email to be caught up in that, and maybe I want this sent at a later time in the day. I can click on this pencil and I can change that time. And it's like, you know what? I want to send it at 10 a.m. and then save. So now that I've saved it, now it's set to send 30 days later at 10 a.m. I can go through and I can change the times and the days on each one of these emails. I can change the orders by using the arrows. But I look at everything, all looks good. You know what? I think I'm going to use the standard stuff that's inside here. That's great. I can also add an additional email inside here as well. So you can create your own custom emails to add to this campaign. But this time, I'm just going to keep everything the same. And everything looks good. Then we're going to go to settings. Okay. Let me go back. All right, everything looks good. All right, yep. So we're going to go to settings. Now, under drip campaigns, you have a couple of options here. The first one is skip the current email and continue the program. Now, what it's talking about here is I'm going to click on this little question mark. It says when a campaign email fails, it will automatically be retried 24 hours later, up to 3 times. If the email fails on the 3rd attempt, this setting will be used to determine how to proceed. So if you have a client that you have in this email campaign, the email gets sent to them. If it fails to send to them, so whether it could be a network issue, their mailbox is full or something like that, it will retry 24 hours later up to 3 times. Now, what we want to know is after the 3rd time, what do you want to happen? So you can skip the current email and continue to campaign, which means in this email, if this first email fails after 3 days, we can set it just to skip it. And then on the next email, we try again. Okay. That's what this first bullet button states. The second bullet button, stop the campaign for the current recipient. So if the email fails, okay, on the first one, it stops the rest of those emails from trying to be sent to that individual. So they're not going to get any more of those campaigns. Now, personally, I'd probably keep it set to skip the current email and continue with the campaign, because sometimes consumers don't empty their inboxes, right? And their inbox could be completely full, and they can go in and clean everything out. And now they're starting to receive emails. Another time, it could be a connectivity issue or something on the network, okay? And when I say network, I'm not talking about BOOJ. It could be a connectivity issue anywhere else within the network between BOOJ all the way up to their inbox itself. Now, once everything is set, you can click on Activate Campaigns. Now, I'm in a test account, so we're just going to double check a couple of things. Recipient list is set. We have 3 people. Emails are set. Everything looks good. Okay.
Hey, Tim, can I interrupt with a
Yes.
couple questions before you move on? Somebody was
Sure.
asking if we can add videos, like BombBomb videos, to these emails that are going out.
Not at this time. Other agents have asked about that. So that is something that they are going to work on.
Okay. And then you showed us how on that first letter to add that block at the beginning. You can see it now on the first letter.
Yes.
Can you actually add a block that'll go to all the letters at one time, or do you need to go into each separate one?
You have to go into each separate one individually because they're all unique emails.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Once you have the overview, recipients, emails, and settings set, then you go to activate. Now this activate button will be, I think it's a green color. And when you click activate, what's going to happen is that it's going to wait 30 minutes for it to activate. The reason that they have a 30-minute pause in there is if you activate it and you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot to do this, or I meant to correct this, right? So before anything is sent out, you've got a 30-minute window to go in and pause the campaign to go in and make any corrections. Now, once you activate the campaign, it's going to start sending out. Now, when a campaign is active, and let me get back over to all drip campaigns. Okay. So once a campaign is active, then what happens is in order to edit a campaign, you have to go back into that campaign, and then you have to pause the campaign before you can edit anything that's inside there. Okay, so that's just one of the things I need to point out. And again, I'm in a test account. You'll see up at the top, test team leader. Okay, so these are test accounts, but in your case, you'll have the pause. Once it's active, you can pause it, go back, and edit that campaign. And the cool thing about these campaigns is that there's 6 of them that you can start using right off the bat. So I recommend that you go in and actually import the campaigns. Once the campaigns are imported, click on the campaign that you want to use, and then set up your list, okay? And your list is you want to make sure you use tags. And this is where it's important. In your contacts, you want to make sure that you have the tag or tags associated to your contacts that you want to use in your campaigns. Okay, so I noticed there were some questions that were coming up. Let me jump over here. Okay, so can you add video and BombBomb? We just answered that one. So what's the difference between BOOJ and Constant Contact? They seem very similar. I haven't used Constant Contact in many, many years. BOOJ is the platform that Remax provides to agents. This is included in your cost that you pay monthly, just like Megaphone and Mac Center, Design Center, and a lot of other applications. BOOJ is your CRM and your your database to communicate with your contacts. Plus, it also includes the websites inside the BOOJ application as well. I wish I could answer more on Constant Contact. I'm not that familiar with it.
Well, and I would throw out there, Terry, that the biggest difference is that with BOOJ, it keeps everybody within your own ecosystem. Everything is interconnected, whether it's through the megaphone or through the BOOJ leads that you get, things of that nature, your BOOJ website. It's all interconnected, so you have a whole ecosystem versus Constant Contact, which is primarily just an email system to send these out on. So that's probably the best way to explain that.
Oh, thank you. That's a really good explanation. And I love the ecosystem. We're using that word a lot lately. All right, so I'm going to show you how easy it is to add a contact to the campaign. So up on the top right, I'm in contacts. I'm just going to add an individual. And you're going to notice I like using Johnny a lot. If you know who Johnny Walker is, I'm not going to say anything else. So we're going to add him as an A client. And again, it depends on how you have your tag set up and everything. But in this case, I'm going to use the tag for A. And one of the most important things, in order for it to be used in a campaign, you have to have an email address. So Johnny Walker, I like Johnny Walker whiskey. So we're going to leave that email set. We're going to add, okay? And so now Johnny Walker's inside here. And did it not add the email? Let's go back to him. I thought I added my email. Get back over. There it is. Okay. So it didn't update for some reason. But we'll go back and there it goes. It's updated. So you'll notice I just manually added this contact. If I go back over to campaigns, and then we go back to drips, and the existing homeowner drip campaign template custom, the one that we just created. And if I click on recipients, it's going to update, and you'll notice that Johnny Walker is now added in this list. So it doesn't mean every time I add a contact, I have to go to my recipient list or my campaigns. Because I used a tag associated to a campaign, anytime I associate that tag to a contact, they're going to automatically be added to that campaign list to start getting those emails. That's how easy this is. I'm a big fan of automation. So anytime that we can put something together that can simplify the process of getting letters out to consumers, this is key right here, is creating tags that you use for your campaigns. And again, there's 6 different campaigns for you to look at inside here. So new buyers, okay, that's a good one. New homeowners, new seller leads. These are all really good campaigns to use. Now, I know that we normally run 30 minutes to an hour, but campaigns are really that easy to use. So does anybody else have any other questions?
There's a question in the chat box about, is there a limit on daily or monthly email sends through BOOJ?
Okay, so yes and no. And if you don't understand after I explain this, please let me know and I'll try to reword this differently, okay? Let's say you have a contact list of 5,000 contacts and you add those 5,000 contacts to a drip campaign. The drip campaign will send to all of those contacts if it's 5,000, but it's going to send them in increments of 1,000 at a time. So it'll actually send them out in 5 different batches of 1,000 at a time to send out to your contact list of 5,000. Sean, did that answer your question?
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Okay. Shannon is asking, how often are new campaigns imported? Campaigns just went live about 3.5 weeks ago. We don't have an ETA on when they're going to add additional campaigns. I know that they're working on campaigns for the office for them to use for their recruiting pieces, as well as some other campaigns, but there is no ETA at this time. I can't wait for them to add more. So I wish I could give you definitive dates, but as of right now, there's no ETA.
Well, you'd shown us, Tim, that we can create a new email within the campaign. Can we add an entire campaign of our own if it's something we want to do?
Yeah, so if you want to create your own custom campaigns, up on the top left in the menu, if you click on recurring, click add new, and anytime you click add new, whether it's under single, recurring, or even drip, it gives you the different options, but it's going to select the bullet button where you're adding that campaign from. So under recurring, you're basically creating a group of emails spaced out over a period of times. And one of the cool things is that, you know, in the future, this will also include important dates such as birthdays and properties anniversaries. As of right now, it doesn't include that, but they are working on being able to create recurring campaigns for like important dates like the birthdays. I am a big fan of being able to wish somebody a happy birthday. The only time I see somebody on the birthday is on Facebook, really, and it notifies me and I have to type it, right? One of the automations in BOOJ that they're working on is birthdays. So you'd have a birthday email that would automatically be sent out on the date of their birthday itself. Now, it doesn't mean that you cannot create any recurring campaigns. So this one, we're just going to go ahead and type this one, test or recurring. And we're going to walk through building your own custom campaign. So the first thing is we want to select a template. And this is one of the cool things about templates. Okay, there's 163 templates. There's newsletters. There's also drip letters. Okay, all the drip campaigns that are inside the BOOJ platform, when you import them, they are added in your templates. If you want to search for the drips, just type in drip, hit return, and it'll actually display all of the drip campaigns that are available. Okay, so if you want to use one as a template, you can select it. Over on the right side, it will load, and then we can also use this template. Now, when we use the template, on the right side, we can also edit this template. When we click on edit, it takes us to like the CMS editor, and you'll notice that the comma is there. We might want to delete that, and we can save and continue after we do our edits. And then when you come back, you have your schedule. So you have your frequency. It could be annually, monthly, and weekly. And you can choose when it's going to be sent. So if it's weekly, you can set it up on Tuesdays. Interval is how many times you want to send that. And when does it end? You can set it as an end date, okay? Or you can set a number of occurrences as well, okay? And then on the bottom, you have your actions where you can create your own recipient list. So just like you did for the campaign itself, you can create your own recipient list. In this case, I'm gonna go ahead and delete this. Now, in order to create recurring campaigns, you actually have to create multiple campaigns to group them together. So the same steps that I created one, you'd have to create multiples in there. So for example, if you have a lead that comes in from Facebook, okay, you have no clue who they are. You might want to set up, custom emails that you can send to them spaced out over 30 days. And it could be an email every 5 days reaching out to them, but offering them different information every 5 days. So basically what you're doing is you're adding 6 different campaigns inside here, which will allow you to group them together. Okay.
Sounds good. We've got a couple people that have put something in the chat box saying they've only got 5 of the drip campaigns loaded and not
5
6.
of the drip that's inside here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
If they can give me, if I can get their names.
Sure. One is Susan Salgado and then Marissa. Marissa, what's your last name? Oh, Arnett. Thank you.
Okay,
And
so give me 1 second.
And Marissa, I just, would you mind telling me which one is missing that's from this list that you see?
Yeah, just 1 sec. Let me compare them.
Okay. Well, and one quick message to everybody on BOOJ too. If you ever get to a point where something has not refreshed, sometimes you just have to do it manually and just refresh your screen. So just as a heads up on that.
Yeah, if you refresh your screen, you should have all 6 there.
I'm missing the existing homeowner drip campaign. And the rest of them below that I have.
Okay. We'll have Tim maybe look into this with the tech folks and see what's going on.
Okay,
Are we
and
able to change the frequency of when they send? Because I see when you click on it, it will say like 7 days after the previous one or 14 days. Are you able to edit that?
yeah, so when you get into the emails, you'll see the pencil where it says send 30 days. So like right here at 10 a.m., if I click on that pencil, I can change that days to from 30 down to 1, all the way up to whatever number you want to use. Okay, now when it says after a delay of 30 days, right? So what it's talking about is 30 days from the previous email that's sent out.
Gotcha.
And is this Susan that we're talking to?
This is Marissa.
Okay, Marissa. Okay, so, and Susan, what campaign was it that you said you were missing?
The existing homeowner.
Oh, the same one?
Yep.
Okay. All right, I'll look at that and see and get back to you. I'll let y'all know.
Thanks.
Terry, you said you only have 5 as well?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll look into that, and then Tim can let me know what's going on, and I'll make sure everybody's aware. Because my guess is if 3 of you are in this spot, there's probably a few more.
Yeah.
Figure out what's going on.
Yeah, my guess is that there's a bug or something that's happening with that, but we'll get that fixed.
Okay. And then Terry Cox put in a question about, do I still need top producers if I use BOOJ? And here's what I would say. It really comes down to what you're using in in top producers right now. BOOJ is still in the process of adding things to it. For instance, these drip campaigns just started a few weeks ago. So I'd recommend, depending on what you're doing in top producers, if it's there in BOOJ and like 80, 90, even 100% of it's in BOOJ, then why not? I think it makes more sense to utilize this ecosystem that you've already got. So Terry, that's something that either your branch manager or myself can go over with you and kind of figure out, and this is really for anybody, figure out if this is a jump to take now or not. So just as an FYI.
Yeah, that's really good advice. On your screen, and so you don't have to go through like a 40-minute video of a Zoom that we're recording right now. If you go inside RU and you do a search for drip, here's a short video on editing an existing campaign, building custom drip campaigns, and then also drip campaign overviews. And then of course, creating a smart recipient list that you can use for your campaign. So you can create those ahead of time as well.
Awesome. Yeah, Remax University is a great place for watching videos, folks. As you can see, Tim's using that search bar. I do it daily as I'm looking for stuff for myself or for others. So I think that would be a good place to do some more learning. And Tim, I hope you don't mind if I'm putting you on the spot here. If I am, we can just do this at a later date. But I've gotten a lot more questions about newsletters lately. Can you quickly show us kind of how those work too? Because it's not really in the drip campaign arena, but I know a lot of people see them as a drip in their minds.
Yeah, so as of right now, the drip campaigns are pretty much a single send. They're not automated. That is one of the campaigns that they're working on to set it up to where that can be an automated campaign sent on a monthly basis. So I think that would also answer Marissa's question, because she was talking about having longer drip campaigns that can go on for a whole year. So right now, newsletters you can send to your database as a one-off. It is not set up as a campaign yet, but that is something that they're working on, and I hope to have that out soon.
Awesome. Yeah, so if anybody hasn't gone in there lately, you can see there's quite a few months worth of newsletters there on the left side. Just go into newsletter. And the really cool part about these, they're really good content, But if you want, you can go in and actually edit and add like you can with the campaigns. So you can make it your own, and they're pretty sharp. So they've been really, really nice.
Yeah. So here's March's campaign or newsletter. And the cool thing about it is that they're all this content is controlled by the blocks on your left-hand side. So you can take and move all of these around by just dragging and dropping, and you can edit each one of these and add your own custom content to this newsletter. And once you make those changes, you save it, it comes back. And then at the bottom, okay, you can schedule it. You can also add your recipients. So in this case, if you've built a smart list, you can select that, or you can select it to send to your all contacts. And by adding that, you'll notice that it'll actually take all of my contacts and put them in. I can send it now, or I can save and schedule that for a later time. So your March campaign is out. So if you want to schedule that to be sent out on March 1st, I definitely recommend going into your campaigns under the newsletters and selecting the March newsletter.
And I'll add to newsletters. I mean, they're great to keep in front of your current clients, your past clients, but they're also really good for those that maybe you got a lead through BOOJ and they just are not engaging back with you, even though you've sent them 10, 12 different emails. These newsletters can be a really, really great way to still stay in front of them, because some of those BOOJ leads are out a lot further than we're used to with, somebody might call you today and want to buy in 3 months. Some of the BOOJ leads might be out more like 6, 12 months, and this is just a great way to stay in front of them. So I'd highly recommend, like, every new lead you get, that you tag them in BOOJ newsletter, however you're going to do it, so that they can be sent that when you set it up. And then as soon as they make it automated, we'll certainly make sure everybody's aware of that, because that's going to be a good plus as well.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm excited where they're going with these. Agents have been waiting a long time, and thank y'all for being patient with that. Right now, I'm actually going to go in and see if I can impersonate Marissa. And Marissa, is that okay if I do that?
Actually, yeah. Marissa, is that okay?
That's fine.
Awesome.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that I'm seeing what you're seeing. Because if I don't see it from my end, then I'm going to need you to do a screenshot for me. And is this you?
Yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure I'm going into the right one. I'm not going to go anywhere else. I'm just going over to the campaigns just to see if I can see what is happening with that. And that is correct. You're only having 5 in there. Okay. Okay, good. Want to make sure I was looking at the same thing that you're looking at. And this is what you're seeing, correct, on your side?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, awesome. I am taking a screenshot right now. Got it. Okay. That's what I wanted to confirm before we disconnected here or anything. Does anybody else have any other questions?
Any other questions today, gang? We can even stump Tim on other BOOJ questions if you have them. Right, Tim?
Yep. I mean, got time.
And
okay.
I'll add too. If you guys haven't been in BOOJ in a while or ever, please go in there, check it out. If you have questions on it, certainly let your branch staff know. They should be able to help you with part of that. You can reach out to me as well, and know that Tim and I have been talking, I don't know, probably in the last 4 to 6 weeks about getting, now that we've got a lot more meat to BOOJ, kind of redoing some training just from start to finish, the basics, right, with RE/MAX Equity Group. So be aware of that. But if you have any questions, reach out to your branch staff, or you can reach out to me. And I do recommend starting to use it, because it's a great, great system. Sorry, Tim, I cut you off.
Yeah, it's okay. Before we end this, I was talking to an office day before yesterday, and one of the questions the owner had was, we're not getting leads, but I don't know why. And so I started doing a little bit of research, and one of the things that I found out is half the office, okay, and when I say office, I'm talking about the agents in the office. Half the agents in the office have not done this step. So write these down. You want to click on your profile on the top right. You want to go to settings. And then under settings on your left-hand side, you're going to see settings pages. Under settings pages, contacts and leads. Then you want to go to offered leads. And you'll notice if you've logged in, you're going to see attention. You must set up your market area to receive leads from remax.com. Now there's two things. One, you have to sign in to BOOJ. If you don't sign in to BOOJ, you're not going to get leads. The second thing is you want to go into your settings pages, contacts and leads, offered leads, and enter your 10 zip codes. Some agents are like, well, I only have one zip code in my area. You can do business in your whole MLS coverage area. So you want to make sure you put in 10 zip codes that your MLS covers, because you want to get leads from those areas. The other thing is make sure you read this correctly. This says you do not want to receive leads from these selections. I've seen agents come in and select these. And basically what you're saying is, I don't want leads from any of this. Make sure that these are unchecked and you have 10 zip codes. And as a reminder, make sure you put in your phone number so that way you can get the lead notifications via text as well. Just wanted to bring that up as a reminder. It was really surprising. The office, half of them in that office, agents did not have zip codes inside here. So they're not going to get leads. So it's just one of the things I wanted to point out before we left this session.
Thank you very much. And I'd recommend for any of you on here, staff-wise, please remind your branches, and for agents, if there's anybody else in your office, you know, your buddies there, to let them know the same thing. Because I will say when it first got rolled out, the verbiage was a little different and it was a little confusing, but you do need to read it. So awesome. Any other questions? All righty. Thank you very much, Tim. Appreciate it. Again, it has been recorded, and I will have that in my equity within the next couple of days. And so in case you want to read through it. And again, if you have any questions, reach out to your branch staff. You can reach out to me. We're happy to help you out. This really is a good tool in general to help you with your business and be able to make it a little easier and get some more business down the road. So thank you again, Tim.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, everybody have a great day.